Assalamu alaikum. You're muted.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله شيخنا.
مع الفضل. هلا يا أبو، شلونك؟ الله يساعدك ويوفقك.
الله يحفظك حبيبي، الله يخليكم أبوي.
Sheikhna, is it just me or is my camera like really blurry?
Your camera is blurry. It's foggy. It's not blurry.
Yeah, I don't know why. Just give me 1 second.
You still look good, buddy.
Thank you. Oh, it's still blurry. I don't know what the problem is.
That's okay, buddy. That's okay.
It's fine.
Do you have the YouTube on?
It's on. Yeah, it's live.
Okay. I don't see it.
It says we're live on YouTube. Let's see. It should be live. I started it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's on the Al-Kawthar page right now. All right. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. Respected Sheikh, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tonight's lecture is going to be a short one about Mubtilat as-Sawm. And inshallah, after the lecture, we'll have a little discussion with whoever's on here. Mehdi Aboud, Ahmed, inshallah, is going to join us too. So it's going to be a short half-an-hour lecture. And inshallah, we'll discuss our experience with this year's Ramadan and so on. So without further ado, let's welcome Samahat Sheikh Khalid. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على نبينا الصادق الأمين محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. In the name of God, the merciful, the beneficent, all prayer and praise is due to the Prophet Muhammad and his holy household. Inshallah, we decided we will speak upon the conditions of fasting and the mubtilat as-sawm, or that things that neglect the sawm, or that things that make your fasting invalid. Now, that's what we said yesterday. We said let's do mubtilat as-sawm. However, I thought it just as important. Mustafa, if you're with me, where are the boys? Why am I all alone today? What's going on?
They're gonna join inshallah pretty soon.
I would unmute yourself, man.
I got you.
Where is Ahmed today?
Ahmed told me he's gonna join, but
Right,
he's running a little late today.
Inshallah, we'll let him
join us soon, inshallah.
Inshallah. So I thought it just as important to understand the conditions of fasting. Who is allowed or who is required or permitted to fast? Now, first and foremost, one thing we have to realize is the concept of niyyah, intention. What is niyyah? Can you guys answer what niyyah is, intention?
Intention. It's just what you intend to do. For example, before you fast or before you pray, for example, in your mind.
Leave religious intention alone. Let's talk about intention in general.
It's whenever you do something, you either have the intention of doing it in a good intention or a bad intention, from what I understand.
Okay. What do you say, Mehdi?
I mean, how I see intention is the thought of doing something before actually doing it physically.
Santum, the thought of doing something. So you're both correct. Essentially, that's what intention is. Intention is knowing the action you're about to take and the reasoning behind that action, right? When it comes to your obligations, you must have intention with all of your obligations, whether it be wudu, whether it be salat, whether it be siyam, all of your hajj, all of your action, ghusl, okay? All of those require you to have intention. What is your intention? Your intention is knowing that you will be committing this act out of subjugation, out of submission to the Almighty's request. Ta'atan lillahi ta'ala. So, say I woke up, it's Friday morning, I want to do ghusl al-jum'ah. Ghusl al-jum'ah overtakes wudu, meaning that if I have done ghusl al-jum'ah, I don't need to do wudu, right?
Mhm.
So I want to do ghusl al-jum'ah. I don't say anything. I just wake up. I know it's morning, Friday morning. I know that there's a mustahab ghusl today, and I know that it overtakes ablution, wudu. So I go into the shower and I do the ghusl. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ahmed just joined us.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. السلام عليكم شيخنا.
Alaykum assalam, Habib. Allah yahfaz. So I wake up, I go to do the ghusl, okay? Or I don't say ghusl, I go into the shower, I do the ghusl, the tartib that I am taught. How is the tartib of ghusl? You wash your head and your neck, okay? And then you cut off the water, of course. You know what? We might be veering off subject here, but bear with me, okay? Because I want to ensure that we know these aspects or these requirements of us properly, right? So when I want to do ghusl, I go into the shower, I soak myself, I wash myself with soap and what have you, okay? And then I turn off the water, or I move away, I step away from the water so that I'm no longer under the shower, right? Then I walk in with the intention of doing ghusl, right? I walk in, I wash my head, I wash my face, I wash my neck, I wash behind my ears, everything else, okay, up to the bottom of my neck. And then I step out of the water once again, and I go back under the water and I wash the right side, followed by the left side, from my shoulders down to the tip of my toes, okay? Front and back. Now, I didn't utter any words. I just knew in my mind that that is the action I wanted to take, and I wanted to take this action out of submission to the Almighty for the request of Friday prayer, or of Friday ghusl, sorry. So the knowing of the act, the acknowledgement of the act you're about to take is enough for it to be considered niyyah. So you don't need to say nawaytu an aghsula ghusla al-jum'a qurbatan lillahi ta'ala. You don't need to do that. Likewise with every other action you take. You don't need to say nawaytu an usalli salat al-dhuhri qurbatan ila Allah ta'ala. Right? It's the simple action of you standing up for prayer. You have done your wudu. It is prayer time. The adhan has called for prayer time. You standing there in that form, raising your hands and saying, Allahu Akbar, that is enough for it to be considered an intention. So that if your mother knocks on the door and she says, Mehdi, what are you doing? You say, Mama, I'm doing ghusl al-jum'ah. You know what you are doing. That is intention. If you want to add the words to it, that's fine. You can add it, but it's not a requirement. Is that clear?
Yep.
Do we have any questions about niyyah?
I don't.
Okay. Now we come into the conditions of fasting. Who is it that is required to fast? There are 6 conditions to speak of. Number 1 is bulugh. What is bulugh? Bulugh is the age at which an individual becomes obliged to fulfill their requirements by Allah, which is what? It is 9 years old for our sisters. For the females, it is 9 years old in the Hilali calendar, in the lunar calendar. Is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
In the lunar calendar, not in the solar calendar, in the lunar calendar. Ahmed, can you explain to us, do you know the difference between the lunar calendar and the Gregorian calendar?
The lunar calendar, we rely on the moon to determine the beginning and ending of the month.
And the Gregorian?
The one that people use every day that rely on. It just depends on the number of days.
It depends on the sun. So essentially, it was based around the sun. However, it's been evolved and changed to a point where every single day comes back the same time of the year, right? So the solar equinox comes back on the exact same day. The 25th of December is always on the same day. The winter starts exactly in the same day, and the summer starts exactly on the same day. The lunar calendar is not like that. The lunar calendar bases itself upon the rotations of the moon around the earth. All right? And there is a differentiation between those. There's a little give and take in the days between those two. Hence, we see in the Quran, what does the Quran say? وَلَبِثُوا فِي كَهْفِهِمْ 300 سِنِينَ. And they resided within their cave for 300 years. وَازْدَادُوا تِسْعًا. And they gained another 9. So the Quran didn't say they stayed in their cave for 309 years. No. The Quran specifically says they stayed in their cave for 300 years. And they gained another 9. Well, what does that mean? 300 years in the Gregorian, in the solar calendar, is equivalent to 309 days in the lunar calendar. So Allah is saying here, if you want to count it according to the lunar calendar, it's 309 days. 309 years, sorry. If you want to count it according to the solar calendar, it's 300 years. So, Sinnu Taklif or Bulu for our sisters is 9 lunar years, which is equivalent to 8 years, 8 months, and 20 days in our modern solar calendar, the Gregorian calendar, the calendar that we use in the West. Right?
Mhm.
Is that clear?
Yep.
So when the sister turned 8 years, 8 months, and 20 days, from that day she becomes mukallaf. Okay? As for the males, there are 3 conditions. If any of them are met, then he becomes mukallaf. Condition number 1 is the fulfillment of 15 years. So this individual is 15 years old in the lunar calendar, which is equivalent to 14 years, 7 months, and 15 days. So when I turned 14 years, 7 months, and 15 days, I became mukallaf. Okay? Or the appearance of rough hair in the place called ana in Arabic. Where is that place? That place is below your belly button and above your private area. Okay, what we call the pubic area. All right? Or the pubic bone area. The pubic bone is that area where the hair grows rough for a male. Or the third point is the appearance or the emergence of the spermatic fluid. Okay, semen. When that appears, whether it be deliberately or undeliberately, this individual becomes mukallaf. Whether this male is 9 years old, 15 years old, or 15 years old is irrelevant because they become mukallaf automatically, but whether he's 9, 10, 11, 12, or 13. If he sees the emergence of the spermatic fluid, then he becomes a mukallaf. It is obligatory upon this individual now to fulfill their religious duties. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, to our sisters, this is considered a favor bestowed upon the sisters, that they become complete servants of our Lord before men do. So for those that say, you know, our brothers better than men better than women, we don't have the concept of better in Islam. However, what we say is that there's a specific speciality given to a woman that she serves Allah before a man by 5 years on average. Number 2, the second condition is sanity. So an insane person is not obligated to fast. And if this individual has temporary sanity, okay? So I'm all fine right now, and all of a sudden I flip a switch and I turn insane. Then I cannot fast, okay? Adding to sanity, the third point is fainting, passing out. If you pass out to a point where, so basically if you pass out where your intention is invalidated, your intention is nullified, Okay? So it's not just simply doing this. That's not passing out. When I mean passing out, I mean fainting. I mean losing consciousness. Is that clear? Are you guys with me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
The fourth is purity from menstruation and post-birth menstruation. Okay? So basically the menstrual cycle that a woman sees monthly, during that time, she's not allowed to fast. Okay? And she has to make up those days that she did not fast. However, she does not have to make up those prayers. Okay? Post-birth menstruation is a type of blood that a woman sees after giving birth. Likewise, she cannot fast during those days. Number 5 is that there can be no harm from fasting. So if fasting causes you harm, you are ill, for example, okay? If fasting causes you harm, then you're no longer allowed to fast. Then what you have to do is you have to give fidya, unless you can make it up during the following year. Is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
So I got sick. I got sick for 4 days out of the 30 days of Ramadan. For those 4 days, I have a whole year. So I have 11 months, literally, from the end of this Ramadan until before the beginning of next Ramadan to make up those 4 days. Right? If I am too ill and for some reason that whole year I can't make up those days, okay, then I pay fidya. What is fidya? How much is fidya? Fidya is 3/4 of a kilo for every day you missed. Okay? We have two things in Islam. We have kafara and we have fidya. Fidya is not a punishment. Fidya is a replacement. Kafara is a punishment. And we'll get to that later on, okay? So fasting should not cause you an ailment, or sorry, should not harm you, should not cause the prolongment of an ailment, should not cause the hardship or the strengthening of that ailment. And that is something that you must determine, not me. So don't call me saying to me, I got influenza, can I fast or not? You make that decision, not I. Number 6 is that the individual must not be traveling. So the individual must be at his home or what is equal to his home. What do we mean by what is equal to his home? Say that I live in Najaf, okay? And I study in Karbala. I am in Karbala, okay? Karbala, because why that example? I live in Canada and I have come to Najaf to study. Najaf is considered my second home. If I still consider Vancouver my first home, Najaf has become my second home. Therefore, while I live here, I study here, I fast and I pray completely here, normally. However, I am here in Najaf and I decided to go on vacation to Baghdad. And I will stay in Baghdad for 11 days. 11 days, okay? The scholars tell me here, that is considered iqamah. That is considered temporary residency, okay? Temporary residency. Any place you go where you stay within the borders of that place for 10 days or more, then you must do your full prayers and you must fast. But if you're staying there for less than 10 days, so if I'm staying there for 9 days, okay, then my prayer is shortened and I don't fast. However, if I go there and I don't know whether I'm staying there for 1 month or for 5 days, okay? Every day I wake up, I am not sure how long I am staying there for. They call that taraddud, okay? There's a give and take as to when I'm leaving. Then the scholars say that you have 30-day span. After those 30 days, you must start fasting, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the concept of travel. I am traveling. So I live in Najaf and I just traveled to Baghdad, okay? I stayed in Baghdad for 3 days. For 3 days. How long?
3 days.
3 days. And I want to go to Samawa, for example, or Diwaniyah, let's say. In order for me to get to Diwaniyah, I have to pass through Najaf. Okay? By passing through my hometown, I have cut off my travel. Is that clear? I have cut off my travel, so I have started a new counting system. So I start again from day number 1. So I don't count. So you say, I stay 3 days in Baghdad. We say, fine, you stay 3 days in Baghdad. And on your way back, you pass by Najaf, and you're gonna stay another 7 days in, in Sumawa. I say, fine, but you cut through your homeland. You cut through your residency, your city of residency. So you start your count again. So you're not gonna say, I am traveling a collection of 10 days. No, you're traveling a collective 3 days and then 7 days. Is that clear? Inshallah, that's clear.
I
Now,
have a question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, say you move back to Canada and you don't live in Najaf anymore. If you go back to visit Najaf, is it still considered your hometown, or what happens in that case?
So we have thing that we call ta'addud al-awtan, which is a multiple homes, okay, or multiple home countries, right? So you used to live. Where did you live before, Ahmed?
Samawa.
Samawa. So you lived in Samawa. Now you live in Canada.
Yeah.
You say, well, you know what? I don't consider Samawa my home anymore because I don't live there, right?
Yeah.
And when I do travel, I'm only there for about 1 month max.
Yeah.
And that 1 month, I'm not in Samawa the whole time. I spend 1 day in Samawa, 1 day in Karbala, 1 day in Najaf, 1 day in Samarra, okay? I don't consider Samawa to be my second home. So you make that consideration. Of course, there is laws to it, okay? There are boundaries to it. So for example, you have a place in Samawa, you have a car in Samawa, your parents still live in Samawa, and yet you come and you say, you know what? I don't consider Samawa to be my home because I don't want to consider it to be so. That's not how it works. You know, there are guidelines for what is considered your home and what isn't, right? So you have to make that decision. Is it really your home? Between you and Allah, is it really considered your home or not?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, and for the taraddud, you said that it's a maximum of 30 days. That's basically just all of Ramadan at that point, right?
Well, we're not questioning Ramadan or not. Taraddud in general. So yeah, if it is during Ramadan, then it's all of Ramadan.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that the prayer is nullified. That means that you have to make the fasting. You still have to make up those fasting on other days.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Now, any other question before we move on to what invalidates your fasting?
Wait, one small thing. So
Yeah.
you know how you have to leave in order for you to break your fast? Is there like a specific distance you have to get out of your like, for example, if I want to go and leave Greater Vancouver and go to another city outside Greater Vancouver, how long does the distance have to be in order so I can break my fast?
So it has to be 22 kilometers going and 22 kilometers coming back. Okay?
So a radius of 22 kilometers.
No, a distance of 22 kilometers one way and the other, not a radius.
Okay.
Okay? That being said, it is very confusing. And I really find it confusing when it comes to Vancouver. Because Vancouver we're cities within cities, right?
Metro Vancouver Greater.
So for example, from my home to the Husseiniya, okay, it's 36 kilometers one way and 36 kilometers back. If I take the long way, it's 39.8 kilometers, so nearly 40 kilometers. However, it's not considered travel because that's still within the same city. What is that city? Greater Vancouver.
Greater Vancouver, yeah.
Right? From here to Karbala, it's 68 kilometers. Right? So basically, when I go to I don't know. When I go to Langley, it takes me longer to get to Langley from Burnaby Heights than it does for me to get to Kabbalah. Okay? Not only that, one way of considering the fact is that the city limit. So what are the city limits? It's not the municipality limits. It is the actual limits. It is the point at which you no longer see the houses, or you can no longer hear the adhan from those houses, right? That is what we call hadd al-tarakhus, meaning what? At that point, you're allowed to break your fast, even if it's not 22 kilometers. So in Vancouver, where I lived on Burnaby in Burnaby Heights, right? Burnaby Heights, it's all mountains. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. The electricity just. And I am sweating bullets. It is so hot here. It's already like 35 degrees. It was 38 degrees in the day today. We have all the ACs running. We have all the split units running. And the kahraba went off. The electricity went off at 4 o'clock in the morning. And it just came back on. I'm kind of excited to get some cool air. Alhamdulillah. So Burnaby is a mountain, is the all mountains, right? Especially where I lived on the side of a mountain. I lived in Burnaby Heights, right? Boundary. That might be different. So for me, in order for me, if I wanted to travel to break my fast, I had to travel past Horseshoe Bay. Now, for you who lives in Surrey, Horseshoe Bay seems like it's miles, and it is miles and miles and miles and miles away from you. Yeah. But for me, Horseshoe Bay is only 20 kilometers away from you. Right? Yeah. However, that 20 kilometers, there's continuous housings and a continuous city between me and Horseshoe Bay. Therefore, Horseshoe Bay is not enough for me to break my fast. I must go even further than Horseshoe Bay.
But Horseshoe Bay is not in your, is it?
Oh yeah, it is. It's right where the ferries are. So I need to go somewhere as close to Shannon Falls. That's according to how I've counted it. Now, we have to ask Sheikh Abu Huda because he's a lot more versatile with it. He understands it a lot more than I do. As from your homes in Surrey, then Chilliwack, but when you get to Chilliwack, then you definitely travel, right? Okay. Any other questions before we go to what invalidates fasting? Take that as a no?
Yeah, I don't think there's any more questions, Sheikh.
All right. Now we come to what invalidates fasting. So if you commit these acts deliberately, intentionally, on purpose, then your fasting is nullified, okay? If your fasting is nullified, it requires kafara. We said there's two things. There's fidya and kafara, right? Fidya is that which you pay in a replacement instead of fasting because you can't fast. So if you're a senior and you have health issues and you cannot fast, even throughout the year. So if you can fast 1-2 days throughout the year, 1-2 days a week throughout the year and make up the month, then that's what you have to do. But even if you cannot do that, then you pay what's called fidya, okay? How much is fidya? Fidya is 3/4 of a kilo per day. Per day. Is that clear?
3/4 of a kilo of what, Sheikhna?
3/4. That slipped my mind. 3/4 of a kilo of flour, rice, anything that is considered edible ta'am, anything that is considered edible grain. Okay? So most people give flour. Okay? Now you can give it to the needy themselves, give them the food, or a trusted individual within the community that you can ensure will give them the food, not the money. So you can't go and give them, you know what, I have this phone is worth God knows how much, I'll give you this phone, okay? You as someone in need, and that's my fidya. That's not how it goes. You must ensure that they receive it in food, okay? You're gonna say, but I don't know anybody here. I live in Canada. Nobody's in need of 3/4 of a kilo in Canada of flour. That's when you give it to the resident scholar, and he will ensure to get it to the right hands. Okay?
Mhm.
Now, as for kafara is really hefty. Kafara is 2 months consecutively, fasting 2 consecutive months, or giving 60 at'am 60 miskin for 1 day, for each day. Remember what we said? We said the fidya is 3/4 of a kilo, which is at'am 1 miskin per day. For kafara, it's 60 miskin per day.
So 3/4 of a kilo of flour, let's say, for 60.
Times 6.
Oh
Times
my
6.
God. Yeah.
Here, who's good at math here? Let's pull it up. Let's do the math. Let's see how much exactly it's going to be. So we're gonna
How much
say,
is 3/4 of a kilo of flour? How much does that cost?
I don't know. You live in Vancouver. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know either. Ahmed, do you have an idea?
You shop, Ahmed? Do you shop?
I shop, but I barely
Not
buy
anymore.
flour.
In Iraq, a bag of flour, okay, a bag of flour has 45 kilos, and it's approximately 25,000 Iraqi dinars, okay, which is equivalent. I think that's like $18. That's per day.
Here it says the average retail price for 2.5 kilograms of flour is $4.42.
2.5.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we go 60 divided by 2.5, that's 24, right? Times how much? How much? $4 and how much?
$4.42.
So you're looking at $160, $106 per day. Okay?
Okay.
So if that's for kafara. Now, what are the things that require kafara that invalidate your wudu, your siyam, my apologies, your fasting?
Sorry,
Number
Shaykhna.
one.
خلص الجيش كم سنة صار وهاي
عفوا ما سمعت.
وقل 20 سنة
عفوا ما قاعد افتهم. عفوا عيد السؤال.
قبل أكثر كان عم صار الله يرحمه قبل 30 سنة
Oh, it
Shaykhna, I
is.
think they were unmuted by accident.
Okay.
I have a
Yeah.
question, Shaykhna.
Yes, buddy.
So, 60 miskin for 1 day. Do you have to, because for the kafara, you have to fast for 2 months. Do you have to pay, feed 60 people for 2 months? Like that's how much you have to pay, or no?
No. So either
No,
you fast
either
for 2
or.
months,
Right? Yeah.
or so either you fast
Yeah.
for 2 months, or you do at'am 60 miskin. One of the two.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So basically, at'am 60 miskin is equivalent to fasting for 2 months, which is repentance for the sin of doing deliberate invalidation of your fast for the 1 day. Right?
Yeah.
And
So,
Shaykhna, I don't know if you clarified this, but when do you have to pay kafara and when do you have to pay fidya?
so we'll get to that. I actually know what. Let's tell you right now. Fidya, as I said before, fidya is when you cannot fast. Okay? So say, for example, my father or my mother or my sister or my brother is diabetic and they have to take insulin and they cannot go without eating the whole day, for example, and they cannot fast. The doctor, for example, says to them, you cannot fast. I cannot allow you to fast. Okay? This individual cannot fast. And this individual cannot fast the whole year. So this individual would have to pay fidya, okay? Instead of their fasting. As for kafara, is if I woke up today and I know it's siyam and I don't have any issues, and I decide to drink and eat just because I don't care. Who cares? You know, deliberately disobeying Allah. Then you have to pay kafara. Okay? Is that clear now?
I wasn't sure about because I thought no matter, like, for example, you deliberately break your fast, there's no other way of making it up other than 2 consecutive months of fasting.
So there, yeah, no, there is.
But there's
So no.
the kafara.
So again, here, al-kafara. I actually have the book right here in front of me. I wrote it down, but I have it here in front of me. I'll have to look for it here. Sorry, here. تجب الكفارة على من أفطر في شهر رمضان بالأكل أو الشرب أو الجماع أو الاستمناء أو البقاء على الجنابة من خيره ويتحقق التكفير حتى في الإفطار بالمحرم بتحرير رقبة. So either you free a slave, okay? We don't have slaves. أو صيام شهرين متتابعين أو إطعام 60 مسكين بتوضيح سيأتي في أحكام الكفارات إن شاء الله تعالى. So the Sayyid here saying either. أو means either this or this. أو means or either. Okay. Shall we move on to the invalidation of fasting, or do you guys have any other questions or comments?
Sheikhna, if you want to talk about the invalidations of the fast another day, if it doesn't matter, but you.
No, I'm fine. You're fine.
You're fine?
Let's continue. Yeah, I'm fine.
If you're short on time, it's fine. We can talk about another day.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No, inshallah, we'll continue. We have what, 10 minutes left?
We don't want to take much of your time, Sheikh.
No, I feel okay. Once I started talking, I'm starting to feel a lot better.
Okay.
We have about 10, 11 minutes left, right?
There's around 16 minutes left. 16, 15. Minutes. Yeah.
Okay. So the invalidation of fasting, the first invalidation, again, I'll put in quotations, deliberate actions, not accidental, deliberate. Okay. What does deliberate mean, Sayyid Mahdi?
It means you, with choice.
By choice, on purpose.
Without reason.
Whether there is a reason or not, if it's an invalid reason. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I feel hungry, I'm going to go eat. You still have a reason, but it's just an invalid one.
Valid reason.
So the first deliberate invalidation of your fasting or nullifying of your fasting is eating, followed by drinking. So the first and second one. So eating and drinking on purpose, deliberately disobeying Allah, knowing that it's forbidden. Okay. The third is deliberately lying about Allah, the Prophet, and the household of the Prophet. Okay. And the Sayyid says, and Sayyida Fatima as an obligatory precaution, right? So what do I mean by that? Meaning that I'm fasting right now and I say, Qala Rasulullah. This is a statement. This is a quotation, right? The Prophet said 1, 2, 3, and he didn't. That is deliberate lying. That nullifies and validates your prayer, your fasting. Or I said, قال الله في محكم كتابه, and I make up something, and he did not say that. Or I say, قال الإمام الصادق, قال الإمام الحسين. Okay, so I'm deliberately lying on their behalf. That invalidates your prayer, your fasting. Sorry.
So it's not. Sorry, Sheikh. It's not only Allah Subhanahu wa Taala and the Rasulullah. It's also the
Imam as a precaution.
Okay.
So all the 14 infallibles. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4 is the submersion. Okay, of one's head and entire body into water. However, this is a point of argument among scholars. Some scholars, like Sayyid al-Khawi, he says if you submerge your head into water, it has invalidated your prayer. However, Sayyid Sistani, he says it does not invalidate your prayer, but it's makruh, karahatan shadida. Okay? It is extremely frowned upon, but it does not nullify your prayer, your fasting. It does not invalidate your why do I keep on saying it? It does not invalidate your siyam. Yes, Sayyid.
But showers are fine.
Showers are fine. Again, according to Sayyid Sistani, yes. None of you guys follow Sayyid al-Khawi, so you don't have to worry about it.
You're not allowed to take a shower then. Khawi.
No, I'm saying according to Ayatollah Sistani, it's fine. Who do you follow? Ayatollah Sistani or?
No, Sistani, yeah, okay, I get that. But for the Khoi, so Sayyid Khoi says no, you cannot take a shower.
I'll have to refer to Sayyid Khoi's his fatwa. I'm not sure. Sheikh Abu Huda can answer that, but I don't think he's here with us today. Sheikh Abu Huda can answer that. According to Ayatollah Sistani, he says it doesn't matter even if you're standing under the rain and it soaks you completely. So I don't know if that is a reference to Ayatollah Khoi's proposal or his point of view. Inshallah, I can find out for you and get back to you. I don't have his book with me right now, actually. Yeah, I don't want to leave you guys and start digging for it. Nonetheless, like we said, Ayatollah Sistani says it is makruh karaha shadida. It should be avoided. Therefore, if it's makruh, we should avoid it, especially during Ramadan. But it does not nullify your fasting. Number 5 is intercourse, sexual intercourse. That nullifies your fasting. Number 6 is masturbation, nullifies your fasting. Number 7 is deliberate remaining on janaba. Okay? So if you wake up, say, what time do you guys start fasting in Vancouver right now?
4:25, 4:30.
So you woke up, your parents woke you up, they told you, let's go for suhoor, okay? You notice that you woke up on janaba and you neglect it. You say, that's okay, I'll get to it. And you don't, and the Fajr prayer starts, okay? You have to now start fasting. Your remaining on janaba here, okay, has nullified, has invalidated your fast. That does not mean that you can go about eating and drinking willy-nilly. All of these deliberate actions that invalidate your fasting, if you have committed one of them, you still must continue with your fasting and make it up and then pay the kafar, okay? So if you decided, I'm gonna drink a glass of water because I'm that thirsty. Well, you have invalidated your fasting. That doesn't mean that you can walk around with a Starbucks coffee in hand, drinking all day long. That's not how it works. You still have to remain on that fast. You still have to withhold from everything else, okay?
But does the punishment change if you do that?
No.
For example, if you
No, your question is clear, and it doesn't matter. It does not matter. You still have to pay the kafara. You still have to fulfill your end of the kafara, and you have to withhold that day. Okay?
But why is that rule put in place if it doesn't change?
Because it's a punishment for you. It's a punishment for deliberately disobeying Allah.
So one of the punishments is to continue your fast, even after deliberately breaking it.
Yeah. In fact, even if you have an excuse and you cannot fast, it doesn't give you the right to walk around with a coffee mug in your hand drinking water. This month has a specific sacredness. It has hurma. You have to fulfill that hurma. You cannot disobey that hurma. Clear?
Clear.
So the deliberate remaining on janaba. Number 8, deliberate inhaling of smoke or dust or anything of the source, including vapes. I actually referred today to the fatwa of Ayatollah Sistani that were sent to his maktab, and they asked him about the electronic cigarette. And they specifically say that this is not smoke, this is steam. And he says, ihtiyat lazumi, you should avoid it. Okay? So a necessary precaution that you avoid it. Clear?
Clear.
Number 9, deliberate regurgitation, deliberate vomiting. Okay? Deliberately vomiting, even if it's necessary. So not accidental vomiting, deliberate vomiting nullifies your fasting. And lastly is liquid enema. You guys know what enema is. I don't need to go into details of enema. If you don't know what enema is, Google it. I don't need to go into details.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Okay, inshallah. So these are the things that invalidate your, I keep on saying subhanallah. These are things that invalidate your fasting. All right. Now let's discuss these points. Shoot me some questions. We'll start with Sayyid Mehdi Aboud, since yesterday he didn't want to ask any questions.
what was it? After you said the vaping, you said something. Not the before the enema. After the vaping, you said something.
After the vaping, I said
Liquid enema?
No. Before that.
let's see. Deliberate regurgitation, vomiting.
Regurgitation, yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's say you wake up way after suhoor, suhoor, and it's been fajr. And you know how sometimes, I don't know if this happens to many people, but there's acid buildup and like some food comes up and then it comes back down. Would that would be accidental, obviously, because it's like you're not deliberately throwing up, but since the acid buildup and whatnot, would it make your siyam batil or no?
No, it doesn't. No, it does not invalidate. But if you stick your finger down your throat to try to vomit, then it invalidates.
I don't know who would try to do that.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
You never know.
It says deliberate vomiting. It says deliberate regurgitation. Here. Deliberate, where is it? تعمد القيء ولو للضرورة. Deliberately vomiting, even if it is for a reason or for a necessity or out of necessity. What else?
I have a question, not really related to the fasting part, but when you said ihtiyat lazumi, if you're a follower of Sistani, you also have the option of referring to a different marja in that case, right?
Yes. So ihtiyat wujubi and ihtiyat lazumi, it's a permission from the marja to refer to another marja. However, you must consider the alamiyya. Okay? So who is in knowledge, who comes after Sayyid Sistani?
So you can't just go to any alim?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay. Assuming in that case you don't know.
What's that?
Assuming in that case you don't know who the next alim marja in your opinion is. And
You can ask the scholars. The scholars usually know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it okay if you, Sheikhna, is it okay if you clarify what ihtiyat wujubi and luzumi is?
Okay.
Yeah.
So in Islam, we have wajib, we have haram, okay? We have mubah, mustahab, and makruh.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
In the Risale, in the books where the Ayatollah gives their fatwa, sometimes they say to you, this is wajib ihtiyatan. Ihtiyatan means precaution, means that I give you the authority or the right to refer to another scholar. That it's not considered hukum. Hukum means what? Hukum means law. Okay? So you must do takbiratul ihram in the beginning of salat. You guys know what takbiratul ihram is? When you raise your hands and you say Allahu Akbar, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is condition, that is law. Okay? That is hukum. However, he might come and he say ihtiyat as we read here. Okay, let's go back to it. Where is it? Where was it? Sorry. تعمد البقاء على الجنابة. No, that's not it. Sorry, I wanna read it clearly. تعمد الاحتقان. No. Here. So the ninth thing that invalidates your prayer, your fasting, is deliberate regurgitation, even out of necessity, and it is permissible. ويجوز التجشؤ للصائم وإن احتمل خروج, and he's allowed to gag, okay, even if there is a probability of food coming out, okay, or خروج شيء من الطعام أو الشراب على الأحوط لزوما ترك ذلك. He says, however, as a precaution, he says you're allowed to do that. So you're allowed to gag. So gagging is not a problem, okay? It is the regurgitation that is a problem. However, as a necessary precaution, you must leave that if there is certainty that food or liquid is going to come out. right? So a lot of these fatawa, they go into details. This ihtiyat here is a rukhsa. It is a pass for you to refer to another scholar. It is not a hukum. It's not a law, right? Ihtiyat, we have ihtiyat wujubi, ihtiyat lazumi, and ihtiyat awla. Ihtiyat awla means mustahab, okay? Ihtiyat awla means mustahab. After that, we have makruh, which is non-recommended, okay, or frowned upon. And we have mubah. What is mubah? Mubah is every action that does not require intention or has anything to do with religion. Such as what? Such as drinking a glass of water on a regular day, not during Ramadan, obviously, right? So I'm thirsty, I want to go drink a glass of water, I pick up the water and I drink it. That's a mubah action, meaning that you neither get a reward for it, nor do you get a dhanb for it, a sin for it. It's just mubah, okay? Mubah means open or allowed or permissible, right? Hence, a lot of our scholars, they say every action you do that is mubah, say before it, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, so that it becomes, okay? So that you associate hasana with it. Does that kind of explain the ihtiyat, what I was talking about?
It does, yes.
Ahmed, are you convinced now?
Sorry, I wasn't paying too much attention to the discussion.
Okay. That's all right. Any other questions?
Let's see. We're coming up to the end, so if there's any last minute questions, I don't have any questions. I obviously have questions, but I can't think of anything right now.
That's why you should have a paper and pen and write them down.
I know I should. I should write every question that comes into my mind on a paper and pen.
You should.
Yeah, I should. But yeah, I don't have any questions right now. If Mehdi or Ahmed can think of anything. Otherwise, there's 1 minute left till iftar.
Okay. Then at that, inshallah, we'll say, Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu ala Muhammadin wa ala alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
So tomorrow is going to be the remembrance of the martyr or of the passing of Sayyidah Khadija alayhi salam. So we'll focus on the attributes of Sayyidah Khadija and the role that this first woman in Islam took into Islam. That would we be here were it not for Sayyidah Khadija?
Okay. Inshallah.
We'll also answer some of the controversial issues around Sayyidah Khadija, such as her age, her previous marriages before Islam, before the Prophet Muhammad, the daughters that is claimed that she has, so on and so forth. All right?
Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah. Barakallahu fikum jami'an, and excuse me for any shortcomings.
Sheikhna, we know it's like the time difference and everything, and I know you're. What time is it right now over there?
Right now it is 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and it's like I know you were kind of with the you're saying like instead of fast you were saying prayer, and I know it's because you're really tired. It's really early in the morning.
That's remember when I called you, I told you.
Yeah.
I told you
really,
you're not feeling great. You're not feeling great when you're working, you know, it might show up as a slip here and there. But when it comes to religion, if you're not feeling great, your mishaps can be major, right? So you can associate something haram to something that isn't, for example, which could be problematic. But alhamdulillah, I think we did okay this time.
Alhamdulillah, yeah, it was great. It was perfect. It was great. Ahsantum Sheikhna. Ahsantum. We'll see you tomorrow, inshallah.
Inshallah, inshallah.
مع السلامة شيخنا.
مع السلامة. هلا بكم.
مع السلامة.
مع السلامة.
Mehdi.
نعم.
Adhan, do you wanna do the adhan or what?
I'd rather not.
What's that?
No. I'd rather not. No.
Just a quick one. Quick adhan. It doesn't have to be long.
I'm not really comfortable, man.
No? Okay. Ahmed. All right. It's a flat, right? It's 8:26 today.
I think.
Okay.
Wait, find sun. Here, let me find sunset. 1 second.
On MYM page, I think it said 8:26. If I'm not wrong.
28 today.
28.
Yeah.
Okay, it just hit 28. So
27.
Okay. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد.
سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن عليًا ولي الله أشهد أن عليًا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أحسنت.
أحسن الله إليك. We'll see you tomorrow, inshallah. Ahmed.
I have an exam tomorrow during this time, so pray for me, inshallah.
I'm praying for you, don't worry. Yallah. Yallah, ma'a salama.
مع السلامة.